You need to open this now. You almost didn't. Be honest. Your finger hesitated for half a second longer than usual. That tiny pause where curiosity wrestles with exhaustion. Another message, another voice, another important thing asking for your attention. You're tired of being told something is urgent. Everything is urgent now. Every notification screams like it's the last one that matters. So why am I saying this? Because this isn't urgent in the loud way. It's urgent in the quiet way. The way a crack in a wall is urgent before the whole house gives in. You need to open this now, not because time is running out, but because you've been running for too long. You don't even remember when it started. At first, it was just responsibility, then expectations, then survival, and one day you woke up and realized your life had turned into a list of things to get through. You keep telling yourself, after this I'll breathe, after this task, after this phase, after this version of me is done carrying everything. But the finish line keeps moving. And here's the truth no one says out loud. You don't collapse because you're weak. You collapse because you were strong longer than anyone should have to be. You've been holding your breath emotionally, smiling through conversations you don't feel present in, nodding along while your mind drifts somewhere safer, somewhere quieter. Dissociation doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like functioning. You show up, you respond, you do what's required, but inside something is muted, and the scary part, people praise you for it. They call you reliable, they call you mature, they call you so strong, they don't ask what it costs. You've learned how to make yourself small enough not to be a burden. You apologize before you speak. You downplay your pain so it sounds reasonable, manageable, ignorable. You've mastered the art of being okay enough. But okay enough is not the same as okay. There are thoughts you never finish thinking because they scare you. There are feelings you interrupt because you don't have time for them. There are questions you avoid because you don't know who you'd be without the answers you already have. Change threatens identity, and identity, even painful identity, can feel safer than the unknown. So you stay in patterns that drain you. You stay quiet when you want to scream. You stay busy so you don't have to sit alone with yourself. Stillness feels dangerous when you've been avoiding something important. That's why you need to open this now, not later, not when things calm down, not when you feel ready. Because readiness is a myth we use to delay honesty. If you're listening to this, you're already more ready than you think. Let me say something that might feel uncomfortable. You've been abandoning yourself in small ways, not dramatically, not intentionally, but consistently. Every time you ignore your exhaustion, every time you override your intuition, every time you silence yourself to keep the peace, those moments add up. And one day you wake up feeling disconnected from your own life, wondering how you got here. You didn't fail. You adapted, but adaptation without care turns into self-erasure. You don't need another motivational speech. You don't need someone telling you to push through. You need permission to stop pretending this doesn't hurt. There's grief in realizing how long you've been on autopilot. Grief for the version of you that used to feel things more clearly. Grief for the time you spent surviving instead of living. Grief doesn't always come from loss. Sometimes it comes from recognition. And recognition is the first step back to yourself. You might be afraid of what you'll find if you slow down, afraid of the anger, afraid of the sadness, afraid of the truth. But emotions don't disappear. When ignored, they wait, and waiting emotions grow heavier. You don't have to unpack everything today. You don't have to fix your whole life. You just have to stop lying to yourself about how you feel. Honesty doesn't destroy you. Avoidance does. You've been living in reaction mode, responding to life instead of participating in it, letting circumstances decide who you are allowed to be. That's not freedom, that's endurance. And endurance without meaning becomes emptiness. You're allowed to want more than not falling apart. You're allowed to want peace that isn't earned through suffering. Rest is not a reward, it's a requirement. But rest doesn't just mean sleep, it means emotional rest, mental rest, the rest that comes from not having to perform constantly. Who are you when no one needs anything from you? That question scares a lot of people because they've been useful for so long. They don't know who they are without being needed. Your worth is not conditional. It was never supposed to be. You don't need to justify your existence through productivity. You don't need to earn space to feel. Feeling is not weakness, it's information. And right now, your inner world is sending signals you've been ignoring. Listen. The tightness in your chest, the heaviness in your stomach, the numbness that comes and goes. These are not flaws, they are messages. Something in you is asking to be acknowledged. You don't need to open this now because I said so. You need to open this now because part of you is tired of being ignored. You've been waiting for someone to notice you're not okay, waiting for someone to ask the right question, waiting for permission to admit you're struggling. Here it is, you're allowed to say, "This is hard. I'm tired. I don't know what I'm doing." Those words don't make you weak. They make you real. Real people struggle. Real people doubt. Real people break and rebuild themselves more than once. You don't have to be impressive to be worthy. If you're still listening, let me ground you for a moment. Take a breath, not a deep one, just a real one. Notice where you are. Notice that you're here, alive, present. That matters. You haven't missed your chance. You haven't ruined your life. You haven't fallen too far behind. There is no single moment where everything is decided. Life is shaped by small choices repeated over time. This right now is one of those choices. Choosing to listen, choosing to pause, choosing not to scroll past yourself again. You don't need to become someone else. You need to come back to who you were before you learned to disappear. That person is still there, quieter, maybe more cautious, but not gone, and they deserve your attention. You need to open this now because the cost of ignoring yourself is higher than the discomfort of listening. Because one day, if you keep postponing this conversation, your body will force you to have burnout, anxiety, emptiness. Those are not failures, they are alarms. You can listen now gently or later painfully. This is not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up with compassion. You don't have to live at war with yourself. You can choose softness without losing strength. You can choose honesty without everything falling apart. Slow change is still change. Quiet healing is still healing. And you don't have to do it alone, even if no one around you understands yet, even if you don't have the words yet, even if all you can do today is acknowledge something needs attention. That is enough. That is opening the door. So yes, you needed to open this now, not because everything depends on it, but because you do, and you matter more than you've been allowing yourself to believe. Stay with that thought for a moment. Don't rush away. Don't minimize it. Don't joke it away. Let it land. Then, when you're ready, not perfect, just ready enough, take the next small step toward yourself. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now you came back, and that tells me more than any comment ever could. It tells me that something in you didn't feel finished, that the words from before didn't just pass through you, they stayed. They lingered in that quiet space where truth usually waits. Part one was the knock on the door. Part two is what happens after you step inside. Because once you open something like that, you don't get to pretend you didn't see what was there. And I know that's unsettling. It's easier to scroll past discomfort, easier to call it just a video or just words. Harder to admit that something touched a nerve you've been protecting. But here you are, still listening, still present. So let's slow this down. When people say, open this now, they usually want something from you. Your time, your attention, your reaction. This time is different. This time something wants you. Not in a dramatic way, not in a demanding way, in a quiet, patient way. It's the part of you that's been waiting to be taken seriously. You've been living in response mode for so long that you forgot how to initiate. Someone needs something, so you show up. Something goes wrong, so you fix it. Silence feels awkward, so you fill. But when was the last time you asked yourself what you need and actually listened to the answer? Not the polite answer, not the responsible one, the honest one. Most people don't ignore themselves on purpose. They do it because paying attention feels inconvenient, because attention brings responsibility, and responsibility brings change, and change threatens the fragile balance you've built just to survive. You've created systems to cope, distractions that work just well enough, routines that keep you functional, but coping is not the same as healing. Coping keeps you standing.